Hey y'all, it's Jenna, and welcome to my first episode of Recipes and Receipts. On tonight's episode, we're making Rattlesnake Pasta. But I forgot a couple of things from the store, so let's head out. My area has a lot of great grocery stores, but my personal favorite is definitely Aldi's. They have the best stuff for the best prices, not to mention their produce section is massive. And I don't know about you, but I prefer to cook with fresh fruits and vegetables over frozen foods, and their selection is so super affordable and always fresh. We do already have some stuff for the rattlesnake pasta at home, but we need to grab a couple of things like this pack of bell peppers. Then looking at their tomato section, which is pretty big, I'm gonna go with these multicolored tomatoes. Then heading over to the herbs, we're gonna grab some fresh parsley. And now we're headed back to dairy because this recipe does call for half and half. Then we're gonna head back to the meats to grab some chicken. I'm going with a larger pack because I know I'll cook with it later this week. That's all we needed, so we're gonna head up to checkout and start ringing up our items. So for all of that, it came out to $21.74, which is not too bad. Now we're headed back to my car. We're gonna load things up and head home. Alrighty, so for this recipe, we're gonna need our half and half, 1 to 2 boxes of penne, an onion, our tomatoes, at least 2 bell peppers, fresh Parmesan, 2 to 3 chicken breasts, and our fresh parsley. For seasonings, I'm using Old Bay, fresh garlic, salt, pepper, Tony's Creole, garlic salt, and garlic powder. So we're gonna go ahead and get started by dicing up our vegetables. So here I am just cutting through my bell peppers, slicing those up. I don't know about you, but I love bell peppers and onions. I will put them in anything I can put them in because I think they add so much flavor to any dish. Quick side note about the pasta, you can add any type of meat that you want to it. Usually I'll add shrimp, but I bought a lot of chicken, so I decided not to. Now that I've finished chopping up the bell peppers, I'm gonna go in and start chopping up my onion. And now I'm just gonna start mincing up my garlic. So now that all of our veggies are chopped, we're gonna go ahead and melt some butter in a pan. I like to use a cast iron skillet. We're also going to set up our water to boil that on the stove. Now that all of our butter is melted, we're gonna go in and add our chopped up vegetables. We're gonna give that a good stir. Then we're gonna go in and add our cherry tomatoes. I like to add them whole. If you preferred them chopped, feel free to do that. It will not change the flavor. While those veggies start to cook, we're gonna go back and start chopping up our parsley. This will go on the pasta at the end as a garnish, so we're just gonna dice it up and put it to the side to save it for later. Alrighty, now that our vegetables have been steaming for a little bit, we're gonna go in and hit them with some Creole seasoning and black pepper. So now that our veggies are cooking, we're good to go in and start prepping our chicken breast. I decided to use 3 for my recipe. You can use more or less depending on how much meat you want in your rattlesnake pasta. And since we want these to be bite-sized, we're gonna start by going in and kind of filleting our chicken. You can do this with a knife, you can do this with your hands, whatever works for you. This will make it easier to cut through and will keep our bites from being too thick. So now that we have all of our chicken breasts filleted, we can go in and start cutting up some strips. I'm just going in and making some vertical cuts. And now we're gonna go in and we're gonna chop up our chicken, go in the other direction so that we kind of have these bite-sized cubes. Now we're gonna go in and season our chicken, so I'm hitting it with some more of Tony's Creole. And now I'm gonna hit it with some Old Bay. Now we're gonna hit it with some salt. And I don't know if you noticed, but there are 2 sets of hands helping with dinner tonight. Shout out to my boyfriend, Evan. Now we're gonna go in and season the chicken with some black pepper. And the last thing we're gonna add is our garlic salt. You can add as much or as little as you like. It's really up to you and your taste preference. I don't measure any of my seasonings. I just kind of go for it. And now that we have all of those seasonings on, we can go in and mix that into the chicken. And I went ahead and added a little bit more of that Tony's Creole. Alright, so our veggies are looking good. Now we can add our pasta to our boiling water. And this step you don't have to do, but just for stove space, we are moving our veggies to a separate pan and sticking them in the oven just to keep them warm for a little bit, because we're gonna cook our chicken in the same iron skillet. So we're using beef tallow and some more butter. We're gonna wait for that to melt down. And now we can go in and add our chicken to that hot skillet. Give that a good stir, and then we're ready to start prepping our sauce. For our sauce, we're gonna need the half and half Parmesan, butter, and some flour. And we're gonna wanna start by grating our cheese. I do recommend you use fresh Parmesan and not bag Parmesan. It just melts a little bit better. In my opinion, the more cheese, the better. Now we're gonna go in and add butter to our saucepan. We're gonna do a quick noodle check, those are looking good. And we're gonna start adding flour to our melted butter. We wanna go in and whisk this in, get out any of those clumps. We're gonna keep adding flour until we get to a desirable thickness. Now we're gonna go in and add our half and half. We use about 1/4 of the carton. Make sure to whisk that together. Doing a quick check on our chicken, that's looking good. So what we're gonna do is add those chicken drippings straight into our pasta sauce. If you don't wanna do that, you can always use chicken broth. And we're just gonna give that a good mix. Now it's time to take out our vegetables and we're gonna add those to our chicken. Y'all, I just realized this whole time I've been recording off my MacBook microphone and not my studio microphone. But anyways, look how amazing this looks. We're giving those veggies and the chicken a good stir, mixing all that goodness together. Then we're gonna go in and start adding our cheese to the sauce. Want to add this a little bit at a time, make sure that melts down before we're adding more. Once you've added all of your cheese, it should look something like this. It's gonna be thick, it's gonna be creamy. And now we're ready to add it to our pasta. And lastly, the moment we've all been waiting for, we are mixing our chicken and our veggies in with that pasta and sauce. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. My mouth is watering. At this point, me and Evan are both starving. We're so hungry. And I wish you guys could smell this pasta through the screen because our entire house smelled amazing. Even Maggie was excited for this. So now that everything's mixed, this is what the final product looks like. We immediately started serving ourselves. We could not wait to eat. Look how good this looks, you guys. It's hot, it's steamy, it's creamy, and as usual, worth every bite. Don't forget to add your fresh parsley that we set aside earlier. And on to our first bite. Y'all, this came out so good. Please let me know if you try it down in the comments. That's a wrap on this video, y'all. See you next time.